A couple weeks ago, I opened up about some anxiety that I've been facing. It wasn't easy to talk about it. It never is, but it helped a lot. This anxiety that I felt was unlike anything I'd experienced in the past. Previously, I always thought of anxiety as over-worrying, overwhelm, overthinking. It's the moments when you do have control, it's manageable, but it's really unpleasant. It sucks. But this recent bout with anxiety was completely different. The symptoms hit me like a brick wall. It started with vertigo. Then I lost the ability to maintain focus, and I lost all drive to do anything. The reaction was so physical that initially I thought I was allergic to my new apartment. Maybe it was the paint used during the renovation or the chemicals used to clean the apartment afterwards. You want to know the last thing that you want to hear while you're experiencing anxiety? Your carbon monoxide detector at 3 a.m. in the morning. It turned out to be a false alarm, but over the next few days, I questioned whether that was true. At one point, I looked up the symptoms of low-level carbon monoxide exposure, and it was dull headaches, dizziness, nausea, shortness of breath, confusion, basically everything I was experiencing. I convinced myself that this was the cause of my distress. I was so sure of it that even though we already had 3 alarms in our home, I ran out to Home Depot to get a device that could measure the precise amount of carbon monoxide in our apartment. I was certain that this was it. It wasn't. At that moment, I was simultaneously relieved that my apartment was fine and unsettled that my mental health was not. The days went on. Each night as I went to bed, I hoped things would go back to normal the next morning. They didn't. At least not right away. After visiting my doctor, there were explanations for perhaps why my anxiety had increased recently. It could have been a sinus infection, allergies could have played a part. It almost certainly had to do with the move and a lot of the shifts in my personal life lately, as well as the pressure I put on myself with work. But understanding the reasons didn't really seem to help me overcome it. And understanding the type of anxiety I had didn't seem to help either, whether it was health anxiety, adjustment anxiety, generalized anxiety, or one of the many other types of anxieties used to label this condition. That didn't seem to help either. And in this video, I don't come to you with all the answers. I simply want to talk about what worked for me and my own personal experience going through it. And the title of the video doesn't suggest that there are literally 21 steps to overcome anxiety. Rather, it's the idea that when you're in this position, you will do absolutely anything to feel normal again, to feel like yourself again. And that's exactly what I did. From the very beginning, I took it as my full-time job to find the fix. I tried to take control as much as I possibly could. I took vitamins, I journaled, I meditated when I felt like I could, I exercised to get my heart rate up, then I panicked because my heart rate went up. I read old books that have helped me in the past, like The Art of Possibility. I remember feeling calm while reading the book. It was a temporary relief, but it helped me shift my perspective. And then I read new books to try to understand anxiety. This one was recommended by someone in the comments and it helped out a lot, so thank you for that. I learned about what Claire Weeks called second fear. When it comes to anxiety, the first fear comes reflexively, and then another fear compounds on top of it. It's that, here it is, oh my God, I have anxiety again, is this ever gonna go away? Fear. It's a downward spiral that digs you deeper and deeper into a hole. Knowing that made a difference. I rebuilt my routines, drank more water, went to the gym as much as I could. In my obsessive search for control, I learned that there were some things that I could control and others that I couldn't. And if I was ever gonna overcome this thing, it was gonna come from letting go. I spent a lot of time lying on the ground. I don't know why, but it just felt better down there. As the symptoms came in waves, I took notice. I didn't fight it or pretend like they didn't exist. I simply accepted it. I told Natalie how I was feeling and that I was scared. She was there to support me and to listen. And I talked to my friend Caroline about her experience with anxiety. We shared stories. It felt good to talk with somebody who'd been experiencing a similar thing.
Believe me, I totally know that feeling of like, you can like see logic and you know what it is in those moments, but you feel like it's on the other side of a pane of glass, like you can't reach it.
I got back to work. Even if it was for an hour each day to start, I sought out the moments when you're so lost in your work that it's impossible to worry about the future. Oh, and I danced. I danced first thing in the morning. I don't care how corny this sounds. It helped me control my emotional state, which influenced my mental state. It was my way of saying, I don't care what you're doing, mind. I don't care what your agenda is. I'm going to overpower you with my amazing dance moves. And make no mistake, they were amazing. What got me through it was the belief that things would get better. I desperately wanted to feel like myself again. I wanted to feel normal again. But I knew that if I put this intense pressure on myself, I'd never get through it. After all, that was one of the reasons that led me to this place to begin with. So I had to continually step off the pressure, step off the gas, and give myself the time to get better. It's so easy to give in to that second fear, to worry about the fact that you haven't been productive in weeks, to worry that you'll never be healthy again, never be like yourself again. And so instead of giving in to that second fear, I decided to accept, to live with that word every day, to continue to remind myself, to look myself in the mirror and just say, accept. And then things did get better. It didn't happen all at once. The symptoms came and they went, and each time they did, I didn't judge myself for it. I simply saw it, I accepted it, and I worked through it. Now I don't have shitty days as much as I have shitty moments. I try not to be hard on myself for not being perfect, and I understand that I still have a lot to learn. I consider myself lucky. Lucky to have gotten through this largely over the course of a month when I know that there are people who deal with this for years. Lucky to know what I'm capable of and to know that I have a support system there for me, family and friends who were there to call on and talk to when I needed them most. And knowing that they will be there in the future means the world to me. So if you have anxiety or depression right now, if you're working through something, just know that you can get through this. And whether it takes 21 steps or 200 steps, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you continue to take each step forward to move through it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Before I let you go real quick, I know that there are a lot more people out there struggling, much more than I have. So I wanted to take this as an opportunity to hopefully encourage you guys to make a contribution to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They're doing amazing work in terms of research, education, and helping those who are at risk. If you guys go there and skip your cup of coffee for the day, make a little contribution, it's gonna go a long way and help a lot of people. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again.